3 in the major leagues. Matt Morris has the best home ERA in baseball, 1.74. The Pirates are batting .194 against the Cardinals this season. The Redbirds have the best record in baseball since the All-Star break, 44-23. The Bucs have the worst record in baseball against teams over 500, 27-63. The best against the worst. Next on WB11. If there's one thing we've learned over the years, you respect anybody wearing a Major League uniform. The Cardinals got some great offense last night. Big Mac went deep, and the Redbirds going away handled the Pirates, scoring 14 runs on a Friday night. Now it's Saturday afternoon, and today is all that matters in baseball for the Cards. Game 2 of the weekend series, Cardinals-Pirates. The Cubs are ahead of Houston. That's the good news from Chicago. As we get set to watch Matt Morris work again today, Bob Carpenter, Al Rabowski, and Rich Gould will be joined by Jim Edmonds shortly. Al, one at a time, and you respect those guys even though they're not playing very well right now.
Well, you have to. The moment you stop respecting somebody is when they slap you in the face and score a lot of runs against you. This is a match of two teams that it really does favor the Cardinals, particularly with Matt Morris pitching at home against the Pirates. But you play the game between the white lines.
And a pitcher on the mound for Pittsburgh that handled the Cardinals very well last week in Dave Williams, one of those soft tossing lefties the Cardinals don't seem to like a whole lot.
Well, I think it's going to be a little better this time around because he's a bit deceptive. He's a short armor, hides the ball, a little sneaky fast, and I think they'll have a little better idea what they're looking at now.
Matt Morris needs a win to tie Kurt Schilling atop the National League, going for number 21 today.
Well, just look at how dominating he's been at home. He will win here today. He will have the best wins, 15 wins. First time a Cardinal pitcher has ever done that. He has the best ERA in the National League at home.
Matt Morris looking for number 21. The Cardinals, with Houston trailing, have a chance to be 2 out later today.
Welcome back. An absolute Chamber of Commerce day in St. Louis. Cards and Pirates and our special guest, Jim Edmonds. It is a great time of year to play baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. It could be a little warmer, but yeah, it's great. It's
I just mean the scoreboard watching, the excitement that we get at the ballpark.
Yeah, as you're a player, you don't try to do too much scoreboard watching. You get caught up in that. But yeah, it's going to be great. I think we'll get closer to the last couple days, and you know, being first place in the wild card, hopefully the fans will show up, and we'll put on a good show.
Mac had 2 the other night in Houston, 1 last night. If he gets going in the playoffs, if we get to the playoffs, don't want to jinx us, he can carry a ball club.
He can, and you know, the best thing about that is we got 2 or 3 guys that they're hitting around him, if not 3 or 4, that can help carry the team. So if he gets hot and Albert does what he's been doing all year, and I can chip in, and even Paul Keston's swinging the bat great, and I mean, we got guys up and down the order right now that they just stay healthy and stay prepared. I think we're going to be all right.
Appreciate it. Go get them today.
All right, thanks.
Jim Edmonds joins us. Cardinals and Pirates back with our national anthem next.
Cardinals with a great home record, 51-26, take on the Bucs again today. As we look at the scoreboard, they're in the top of the 8th inning at Chicago, and the Cubs lead the Astros 6-2. They had a bunch of home runs early. The AutoZone division standings will show us that Houston is on top with a 91-63 record, but their magic number, which stayed at 6 last night, might stay there again today. Cardinals 3 out. Giants, with a Barry Bonds homer, won their game last night. They stayed 3 back of the Cardinals. There's your score. Dave Malicki of Houston, after beating the Cardinals Monday night, really knocked around by the long ball of the Cubs today. I'll give you more details on that game a little later, but right now it's late at Wrigley, and the Cardinals could be 2.5 out a few minutes from now, and then knock another half game off of that with a win today. One game of interest in the National League East right now. In the 8th inning at Atlanta, the Mets lead the Braves 5-1. Bank of America, as always, takes us inside the numbers. And Al, we're going to look at the month of September, which has been very good to the Cardinals. The ERA outstanding, best in the league. Runs per game, top 4 at better than 5 runs a game. Cardinals aren't exactly hitting for a high average. Their overall season average is .269, but timely hitting has been a big factor.
Well, that's the key, but I think the most important part is the first one. First in the ERA with 2.61, and of course that brings us to today's starter, Matt Morris against Dave Williams. Dave Williams, talented left-hander, beat the Cardinals on Sunday, but Matt Morris is unbeatable here at home.
That he has been. Pirates are batting .250, tied for last in the league with Milwaukee. Jason Kendall, I think he's about had it with the outfield. He's back behind home plate. Jack Wilson at short, Brian Giles in left. Aramis Ramirez at third, Warren Morris at second, and Rob Makoviak's in right. That is Craig Wilson at first base, Gary Matthews Jr. in center, and Dave Williams. First half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup is Matt Morris, a 3-3 record career against the Pirates with a good ERA, though, 2.17.
And he's 2-0 this year with a 1.13 ERA against the Pirates. Matt is trying to become the first Cardinal since '85 when Joaquin Andujar and John Tudor won 20 games in the season. He would also set a Busch Stadium single-season record for wins with 15 with a victory here today.
Cardinals defense brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Albert Pujols and Placido Polanco back in there. They'll anchor the left side in left and at third. The versatile Craig Paquette will play right field today. Mike Matheny again behind the plate, and Matt Morris on the mound. Home sweet home, huh? 48 starts at home. Decisions in 40 of them with 27 wins and a very, very strong 2.45 earned run average.
And this year it's been even better than that. He's 14-2 with a 1.74 ERA in 17 home games. There's been a 500 pitcher on the road and a much higher ERA, but here at home he is the best in the National League in ERA.
Cardinals throw the ball around the horn. Jason Kendall walks to the plate. Batting .269. I ran into Jason this morning on the way into the ballpark, and I said, how do you feel being out from behind home plate so much lately? He said, I'm done. I told him, I'm catching, I'm not playing right field again, and here he is behind the plate leading off. Jason says if he's got to learn another position, he'd rather do it somewhere other than during a regular season game. It's a lot of pressure on a guy. We're underway at 3:13 in St. Louis with a Matt Morris strike.
You know, Jason made 2 errors in last night's game, 2 of 5. They took one of the errors away from the Pirates.
Yeah, I noticed that in the paper this morning. Which one was it?
The one J.D. Drew hit the little ground ball to shortstop. It was a tough hop, and Jack Wilson was charged with an error. Then they got the runner rounding third, so J.D. had a 3-hit night.
Okay. Good to know. J.D. Drew not in the lineup today against the left-hander. Matt Morris now with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jason Kendall. Kind of an odd starting time that we're not real used to around here. There's already shadows in the right field corner, and a ground ball right to short. Edgar's got it. So does Matt. 1 out.
Bob, you bring up a very good point. You want to get a lead early because a lot of the hitters think in about the 4th or 5th inning those shadows are going to overtake the home plate area, and it's going to be that much more difficult to hit. That's also the approach you want to do, is retire the Pirates as soon as possible, get on top of them, and hopefully they can't compete with you.
Here's Jack Wilson. Matt Morris misses low and away. Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire today. Darryl Cousins at first, Tim Sheeta at second, the crew chief Joe Brinkman over at third. On a beautiful 72-degree day downtown. There's a strike and the count's even. Dodgers at Arizona later, Padres at San Francisco again. We'll get you updated with the pitching matchups on those games. A meaningful game in the American League has Minnesota leading 8-7 at Cleveland after 8. Swing and a miss last night. Great pitching by the Twins, and a 1-0 shutout to keep the Cleveland magic number at 3 over in the AL Central. Breaking ball in the dirt. Atlanta's magic number is 7. Houston's is 6 and holding. Arizona's is 7. You know, the Cardinals have a magic number as well. It is 6 for clinching the wild card. But right now, our boys are interested in first place. The 2-2. Pretty good fastball on the corner. Jack Wilson had to reach to foul that thing away.
See, Matt Morris looks like he is very aggressive right now, going right after hitters, very confident on the mound, just the way you always see him here at Busch Stadium.
I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, Al, about Matt's approach after what happened Monday night. Big curveball. Who is that? Darryl Kyle out there? That thing went straight down. Matt Morris, one of the best breaking balls we've seen him throw this year.
Well, Matt does have a tremendous breaking ball, and right now it seems like he has confidence in his fastball and that breaking pitch. Last outing wasn't pretty for him, and he has struggled on the road, and no more so than there at the dome or the in-run field.
There's a jam job on Brian Giles, cruising for it. Albert Pujols. 1, 2, 3. Pirates gone in the top of the first. Cardinals will get their offense geared up. Fernando Vina's in the lineup today. We'll give you the rest of the Birds in a minute. Tony's Cardinals, 3rd in the league in batting, 4th in runs, 7th in homers, and playing very, very well just when it's the right time. Fernando Vina, after BP, okay to play today. Polanco and Paquette to follow. It's a lineup loaded with righties except for Edmonds and Vina. Pujols and McGuire around Jim. Renteria, Matheny, and Morris. Second half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup is Dave Williams, the 22-year-old left-hander who shut down the Cardinals on Sunday. A rookie lefty, Al, who looked a lot better to us than a 3-6 pitcher.
Well, yeah, he started the season at Double-A, worked his way to Triple-A, and he's got that 3-6 record after defeating the Cardinals Sunday. A little bit deceptive. He's a short armor and sneaky fast.
It's in there for a strike. Big gap in right center. On the grass at third, Aramis Ramirez. Vina dragged a bunt for a hit last night early. Little tapper. Greg Wilson will do it himself. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers brings you the Pirate defense. Brian Giles out there again with Makoviak in right. Gary Matthews Jr. can go get him in center. It's Warren Morris on the side of Jack Wilson today. Craig Wilson with Aramis Ramirez at the corners. They wish it was Manny's bat. And behind the plate, Jason Kendall. Polanco 0 for his last 7 as he steps in now.
Williams has a 2.38 ERA in his last 6 starts. So you can see how effective he has been right down the stretch.
Well, between the Wilsons, the Williams, and the Matthews, we have a bunch of ball players in the ballpark tonight from both clubs. Gary Matthews Jr., Cardinals 2 pitchers by that name. The 2 Wilson boys of the Pirates. Woody Williams will throw tomorrow. Dave Williams today. And there's his line through 7 great innings at PNC Park last Sunday. Inside, well inside, to Placido Polanco. Paquette to follow, and then Albert Pujols here in the first. Well, the little guy ought to be refreshed. Had a couple of days off with Albert. The off day Thursday. Didn't play last night at the Letters. Pujols did get a little late defensive action last evening. Cardinals have beaten the Pirates 12 out of 15 this year. 6 out of 8 here at Busch. And a ball jacked into the corner, hooking foul. That had to sting. I tell you what, if I'm sitting there, I've got to have some leather. Some of the guys do, but the men who made contact there did not. Looking right back into the sun at 3:22 local time. The 3-2 to Placido. It's low, and the Cardinals have a base run.
Hey, Bob, I think the advantage was to Williams last Sunday. The first time you face a team, I think the advantage is with the pitcher. But now the fact that they're facing him so quickly, consecutive starts,
right.
I think the Cardinals will have more of an idea of how his ball comes out of his shirt. And I say that because he short arms the ball, kind of slings it a little bit. He is deceptive and hides it.
And here's the other thing, Al. This game's not in Pittsburgh, so he's not wearing a white shirt today. He's got the road grays on with the old traditional bucko black sleeves. That might help our guys see the ball a little better. It was a nice sunshiny day in Pittsburgh with that white shirt he was throwing out of. Here's Paquette. Craig with a 5-game hitting streak, 5 out of 18. Doesn't sound like much, but every one of those 5 has counted. And there's a hot shot caught by Ramirez. Good base running by Polanco not to get doubled up, with your leadoff, or rather your cleanup man, coming up next.
Here he just slices this ball, and Craig's played a lot of third base, so he understands how it is. And nice job. If you're that base runner, first thing that Dave McKay will tell you is don't get doubled off on a line drive, and Polanco wasn't.
Albert Pujols, 83 extra base hits on the year, and they've got Polanco picked off. After not getting doubled off, there's a pickoff, and it turns into a basic 1-2-3 inning. 1-3-6 on that play. Cardinals gone quickly, so Albert will lead off next time around. No score at Busch after 1.
Come to the ballpark. They can't take as many things.
Right. You're right on that, Rich. It has, I think, brought a heightened awareness about security at public events such as baseball games. Naturally, we're not allowing in backpacks and large bags or coolers. That's standard operating procedure with all sporting events now, whether it be football or baseball or whatever.
Aramis Ramirez rips one into left, base hit, single for you, and you're on the flights now. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, the Cardinals are taking me on all flights here. We're just being extra careful in our preparations when we take airplanes and, you know, in the hotels and whatever.
There are a whole bunch of Cardinal fans who hope they get checked out well into October.
Absolutely. I'd like to see us here all the way to that last week of October here, that's for sure.
You are doing a great job. We also have more uniformed policemen, don't we, Joe?
Yeah, we have some more officers, more security, private security personnel. But for the most part, I think all the fans are cooperating great with us. We haven't had any problems at all. And,
Bob, Al, back up to you. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
thank you, Rich.
Well, how about Tony La Russa guessing correctly on the first pitch to Warren Morris? That'll go 2-6-3 on the caught stealing as Mike Matheny got it going with a bullet down to second.
Well, there you see the pitch out, and Ramirez was a little bit too far. Good base runners, they will detect something different in the release point of a pitcher.
Fly ball left field. This won't be easy. Pujols toward the corner, cannot get there. It's a foul ball, fortunately for the Cardinals.
And I think also Albert, who is not the fleetest of foot, but you know he's always going to hustle out there, and I think he wisely realized that the foul territory in the left field stands was coming upon him quite quickly and start pulling up. Last thing you want right now is to have him run into that wall.
You got that right. Warren Morris batting .209. I guess I forgot about the Morris boys too. What is it with the Cardinals and the Pirates? Matt trying to talk that ball foul. Go foul, baby.
Well, you know, first of all, everybody comes up to me and says, you know, you're the guy that used to talk to a baseball. Baseballs don't talk. I was talking to myself.
Well, they don't talk back. We know that. What possible explanation do you have for a gall for a guy like Mark the Bird Fidrich? I mean, Mark Fidrich, he talked to the ball, the mound, himself, his glove, his hat, other hitters, other fielders. Here's Rob Makoviak, who's hitting .285, and a breaking ball drops in beautifully to him. Our Suntrip Automotive Group trivia. Now, how would we know that? How many yards of wool yarn are used in an official baseball?
Somebody knows it.
It's probably like 2 miles or something. No. 150 yards. A football field and a half of yarn. That's amazing. Where do they find this stuff? 1 ball and 2 strikes. As soon as last night's game was over, As soon as last night's game was over, Doug Stanton went looking for that.
No, he didn't.
Our graphics guru coming up with that. What's this density you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, what's the width of the yarn?
The width of the yarn?
How thick is it?
It's got to be in millimeters, if anything. We're checking. 2-2.
You were the kid. You took a baseball apart one time, didn't you?
Yeah, I hit a couple and they fell apart, Al. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I knocked the cover off a few.
And then you woke up.
Then the alarm went off. A fastball. Strikeout number 2 for Matt Morris. He's only faced 6 batters. It'll be Pujols, Edmonds, and McGuire coming up next. What's on tap from Budweiser? Pirates Cardinals tomorrow. 1 o'clock. Al and I will be here with Rich Gould and our amazing Bud Sports crew. It will be Woody Williams, who has been amazing. 14-9 against Tony McKnight, rookie pitcher for the Bucs, former Astro. That'll be the wrap-up of this series in the short homestand. Then we're off to Milwaukee. By the way, you know Budweiser, the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. What's on tap for tomorrow? A ball and a strike to Albert Pujols, who's batting .329, but he's 0 for his last 16. That series in Houston, one of the few this year. What was that, Al? Only the second series, maybe the third, in which he has not had a hit this year?
I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen 2, and then I've seen 4. But I think the 2 is more reasonable. It says in there, and then in the game notes, it says something different.
Yeah, it says in the game notes, 48 of the Cardinals' 52 series. He's hit safely in this one. That ball is jacked to the wall. He'll have to hustle for 2. He hit it so hard. It's a leadoff double for Prince Albert.
Well, that's another important milestone, getting another double. I think that's 45 on the year for him. And also it gets him 2 more bases closer to Dick Allen's record of 64 for a rookie. He's 8 away from equaling the National League rookie mark for total bases in a season, or a rookie season. There's your little pop-up slide, and a good start here to the second inning.
45th double. National League record is 52. 344 total bases. Dick Allen's record is 352. Here's Edmonds, lefty. And a breaking ball. Jimmy swings and fouls it straight back. We're going to be doing a little auctioning tomorrow, right?
Yes.
When Big Mac comes up in a moment, we'll tell you how you may be able to bid on and win a Mark McGuire autographed jersey tomorrow. Edmonds with 101 RBIs, a 5-game hitting streak, 9 for his last 14. He gets away from an inside fastball. I haven't posted it on the board yet, but I think the Cubs game at Houston, or Houston's game at Chicago, may be over by now, unless they're just, the network is joining Barry Bonds now for his live at bat. And a swing and a foul straight back. They were in the 9th inning a few moments ago with the Astros trailing the Cubs 6-2. Barry Bonds stepping into the batter's box out in San Francisco with 68 home runs. The Cubs did beat Houston 6-2. Cardinals only 2.5 out as the Cubs beat the Astros for the 2nd consecutive day. 1-2 to Edmonds. Ground ball, that'll advance the runner. Fielded by Morris. 1 out, over to third, Albert Pujols. So Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds are batting at the same time right now, about 1,500 miles apart. We'll auction off Mark's jersey tomorrow. We'll start with first pitch, conclude at the end of the 7th. Proceeds will benefit the Pitch for Life Bone Marrow Donor Drive, October 6th. So here's the number to write down, 425-0615. Don't call us now. Wait till tomorrow. We'll auction off Big Mac's jersey. First pitch to him. High fly ball out to center. Matthews. Pujols, not much speed. Oquendo's going to send him. The throw is up the line. Cardinals lead 1-0. McGuire got it just deep enough. Nice job by Oquendo. Nice job by Pujols over there at third base.
I think it's even more important to make sure Mark McGuire feels like he's contributing. And you know, this was borderline, but it's a gutsy call, and we've seen Oquendo all season long, or the last couple of years, be very aggressive, make the opposition execute, and they failed to do so.
Renteria out to left for Giles. That quickly, the Cardinals take the lead here in the second. A leadoff double by Albert Pujols. Edmonds, let's not forget his grounder. McGuire's swing, and the Birds by 1. Well, Big Mac delivers the sac fly. That's Mark's 59th RBI, by the way. Cardinal Game Day Magazine, get ready for the postseason with the Redbirds. J.D. Drew's on the cover. Jump on board. We have people waiting for your call at 982-7336. Extra special playoff and postseason editions to follow. Cardinal Game Day Magazine, the best team publication in Major League Baseball. Who knows, you might call in and get to talk to Steve Zesch. He's one of those guys on duty down there. Just don't keep Steve on the phone too long. He told me a lot of fans like to call up and talk baseball while others are on hold. He'll take care of you, so will all the other guys down there. Cardinal Game Day Magazine. Top of the third, Craig Wilson leads off for the Bucs. This guy's got a red-hot bat. 7 for his last 10. He can play first base. He can catch. And Matt gives him a couple of breaking balls.
Well, the best thing he could do is hit. In his last 19 games, he's hit .404 with 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. Tied a Major League record with 7 pinch hit homers this year.
The 2-1 pitch. Another breaking ball, way foul, right past Trent Jewett, the third base coach. Gary Matthews Jr. to follow here in the third, and then Dave Williams. Al, earlier this year, we had a bachelorette party up here in the booth. Some nice ladies were visiting us. Today we have a bachelor's party. Tom Duffy is getting married. His best man, Duff, Mike Duffy, Kevin Fokel, Bill Tomber, Don Ingram, the Barker boys, Don, Matt, Nick, and Dan, all here celebrating today. And a fly ball out to center. Backing up is Jim Edmonds. He's got it for the first out. If you'd like to sell your car, avoid the classified ads. Go straight to carsoup.com. It's the best way to sell your car. Carsoup.com. Log on today. By the way, Al, I know it was a late start. They're going to have to leave early so they can catch 5 o'clock mass before they go on with the rest of their activities tonight.
No, really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I think the bachelorettes were a lot more attractive than these guys.
I don't think we're going to be turning around much today.
Nah.
There's a fastball fouled back to the screen by Gary Matthews Jr.
Sure, Rich Gould will probably be entertained by him.
Rich Gould will be up here to do his stand-up routine shortly. Gary Matthews Jr. batting .230, but better than that since he became a Pirate. A breaking ball is in there. Sarge's son batting .256 for the Bucs in 39 games. With 4 home runs, 11 batted in.
I think they made a good pickup.
Pitch off the plate inside. The count's 1-2.
I think Matthews is a young player, just needs the opportunity to have some playing time, and it's very difficult to develop him on a first rate team. And this guy's got some talent, and somebody sticks with him long enough, I think it'll come out.
And I didn't mean to leave you folks hanging about Barry Bonds. In that first at bat today, he walked for the 165th time this year. Pitching matchup out there in San Francisco. Kevin Jarvis for the Padres, Russ Ortiz for the Giants. LA's at Arizona, James Baldwin, Miguel Batista. How about Luis Gonzalez hitting number 54 last night in the 11th inning to beat the Dodgers. 3-2 from Matt. A breaking ball, swing and a miss. That is not fair. Guy may be looking for a heater on 3-2. He gets a big hook.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons why you throw a breaking ball, and it wasn't his best one, but See the good location outside. Matthews did a little hitch in his swing, located the breaking ball, but then it was kind of a floater out away from him, couldn't reach it.
Dave Williams, the batter, rookie pitcher, 4 for 32 with the bat this year and a couple of RBIs. Matt Morris has a chance to face the minimum through the first 3. He's got a great breaking ball today. Wow. Throwing it for strikes. Actually, not just throwing it for strikes, but hitting pretty good spots with it. The 0-2. Another hook. Pitcher gone. Matheny says, I caught it cleanly. He'll tag him just to be sure. It'll be Matheny, Morris, and Vina up next. Cards 1-0. Fernando Vina. Cardinal Cruz is coming up next winter. Look at that. Al Raboski's excellent adventure.
You better believe it, man. It's the Veendom. The Veendom. It doesn't look anything like that. This is a luxurious ship.
You don't show up for the cruise looking like that, do you? People would be jumping ship in the Bermuda Triangle.
Those Cardinal fans,
look at that beautiful view.
Anyway.
Look at that beautiful view.
How about joining Jack Buck?
This year they let another Cardinal broadcaster go.
Mike Matheny's going to be on there. Kerry Robinson, another ball player. Redbird. You know, these guys are going to have a great time. We've been on the same ship the last 2 years. It's unbelievable, outstanding. Last year the captain was at every function we had.
That Captain Stubing on that boat?
No. You know, just because you're going to be in Salt Lake and what other city?
Probably Louisville.
Oh, Louisville. Well, you know, we're going to be enjoying ourselves. Mike Matheny brings his glove, brings somebody to catch with him, and like that. See that you can't handle it. The responsibilities are so tough for you, Carpenter.
Is Altair Travel paying for this 3-minute commercial?
Altair Travel is so good. They just are, they're just out there serving humanity and mankind, offering this great trip.
Do you have a mute switch over there? 1 ball and 1 strike to Mr. Cruz, Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny brings his catcher's mitt on the cruise.
Plays catch,
He takes a 2-1 pitch.
He's trying to talk JD into coming. And by the way, there's been some misinformation. JD is not engaged.
Who said that?
I'm getting more and more letters, people seeing that JD's engaged out on the internet, and it's crushing the hearts of so many of the young ladies.
Okay. Well, when it comes to affairs of the heart, we go right to Al for all the latest information on the Cardinals. Here's Matt Morris, a swing and a miss on a fastball away. Matt's got 10 base hits and 68 ABs this year with 5 RBIs. I was talking to JD the other day about his little brother. They call him Dirt. That's his nickname. His real name's Steven. He is a freshman at Florida State. The Pirates offered him about $1 million to sign, and he decided to go to college. He's a young player with some power, and Dirt Drew, they call him, Steven. And I have a hard time believing this at this point, but there have been some that said he may turn out to be the best of the Drew brothers. Time will tell.
Well, Jockey told me that.
Swing and a miss by Matt. He's gone for the second out. And, of course, Tim, JD's other brother, is a pitcher in the Cleveland organization. He's been up and down between the Indians and their AAA affiliate this year. So that Drew family really becoming something. And Steven will be a professional ball player a year or 2 from now. Here's Fernando Vina. He bounced out to the first baseman, Craig Wilson, first time up.
We saw where Fernando, I think on the off day, went to visit Children's Hospital.
And he just got drilled for the 22nd time this year. That was a fastball running way inside.
And you know, Bob, I've got a neighbor, Trish Philippe, outstanding neighbors that I have. Unfortunately, they got me, and there you see. I think Kendall got the worst of it, but Trish volunteers at Children's Hospital, and every now and then she'll send a little note to me. Got a little note from Zach Workman, and he wanted to tell everybody, as you see where Fernando is on the list, being hit by pitches, Zach is 7 years old, and he loves to watch us on TV. He says if we catch a ball, he wants us to mail it to him. Well, I think
we'll hand deliver it.
We'll get a ball to him and everything a different way.
I think we've had one ball in the booth in 7 years, but maybe we'll get one.
Then you'll like this one. Brett Robinson, high schooler, is going to be on his back for a year. Big strapping football player. He listens to Cardinals game. He loves announcer out. Poor guy.
Set your sights a little higher, buddy. Face it up the middle. We love you, Al. And there's a good swing by Polanco. So he gets a day off or two. He has a walk and a hit. Pujols gets rested. He's got a double. So the boys who are fresh have come back strong here on this Saturday afternoon.
And this is a nice compact swing, just really that patented stroke that you see from Polanco. And once again, a good solid approach right up the middle. It kind of reminds me of Tyler Davidson. I remember he was in the hospital last year and sent him a pitcher, and I guess he's having a little problem again. So we'll see if we can send something to Tyler Davidson, Brett Robinson, and my buddy Zach Workman.
All right.
Go out there.
Any friend of yours is a friend of ours. Paquette had a pretty good rip. He had a real good rip his first time up, and he lined out hard to Aramis Ramirez over at third. One to Craig Paquette. Hot shot right at third. Ramirez goes the short way, and the Cardinals are gone in the third. They strand a couple, their first two of the game. We played 3 crisp innings at Busch Stadium. 1-0 Cards.
A 7 spot in the bottom of 9th inning, and Atlanta beats the Mets 8-5.
Wow. They were down 5-2 going into the bottom of the 9th. 5-1, and stick 7 on the board. The Mets are 5 games out. The Phillies play at Florida a little later. And the Braves, if the Phillies lose, their magic number now would be down to 5. That must be devastating for the Mets. On the corner, strike 1 to Jason Kendall here in St. Louis, and the top of the 4th is underway. Shadows creeping up toward the batter's box here at the ballpark. Matt Morris doesn't mind. Fastball is in there. 0-2. Kendall grounded out to short first time up. So the field is about 35 or 40% in the shade now. Folks basking in the sunshine over on the third base side. It's cooling off considerably over on the first base side. 72 degrees at game time. 64 at the ballpark last night. The 0-2 pitch. And a breaking ball hit up the middle. Edgar to his left. Scoops. Throws. Oh, and a close play. Renteria brilliantly taking that one up the middle.
Boy, that was an outstanding play. He was more into the hole thinking he'd pull the ball. So this ball up the middle, and you've got to respect Kendall's speed. He's a catcher, but he runs extremely well. That's why they're trying him at other positions. And to catch this ball, bending over on the dead run towards the right field, you kind of arch your back back, trying to get an off-balance throw and have something on it. That was a sensational play behind Matt.
Jack Wilson, the shortstop, on the 0-1 now. Matt Morris getting ahead of everybody. The count's even 1-1. Bomarito Automotive Group with our leaderboard. Matt Morris trying to equal Kurt Schilling, who got a no decision last night. Randy Johnson not pitching today, nor will he pitch tomorrow. So it'll be into the final week of the season before Randy Johnson has his chance for 21.
And Matt, with a victory here today, would be 15 wins at home. That'd be the most ever by a Cardinal pitcher.
Well hit ball, foul. Matt Morris's ERA, the overall mark of 3.38, is 8th best in the National League. 32 starts. Right now he's at 205 innings. 171 strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody today, and he's got another K on a nasty breaking pitch to Jack Wilson. That's 5 for Matt Morris today.
And you see where Matt is on road games, just 6-6 with a 5.50 ERA. That's the biggest discrepancy in the major leagues. And of course his 1.74 at home is the best in the National League, and leads to a speculation if the Cardinals were to open on the road, you know, in the playoff system, you probably would not pitch Matt until game 3, until you came home.
Makes a lot of sense.
And of course you can do that the way Woody Williams has been pitching.
Well hit ball by Brian Giles. It will be caught by Edmonds. Looked like it might plug the gap. Jim Edmonds makes a Gold Glove play. Matt Morris has retired 8 in a row. Standing ovation. And the Cardinals stay on top. Great play by Jim Edmonds, Al. A ball off the bat of the left-hander. Maybe slicing back to him just a bit, but a spectacular effort.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You see a lot of players today that leave their feet unnecessarily trying to get those highlight films, but that was flat out, laid out, perfect timing, and that was as good a play as we've seen him make. And I'll tell you what, there's a long highlight film.
Albert Pujols with a high fly to deep right at the track. It is caught at the barrier by Rob Makoviak. And after seeing him at second base and Jason Kendall in right field, this is the right move for Lloyd McClendon today.
Yeah, it just seems like he's much more acclimated to play the outfield, and he didn't look too comfortable at second. And a little more concentration by the Pittsburgh Pirates. A nice hand for Jim Edmonds after that sensational catch.
Here's Edmonds, who bounced out to second first time up. Absolutely spectacular play in right center. How will he follow it up? Breaking ball way outside. Cardinals have out-hit the Pirates just 2-1. Well played, well pitched, and a ball game totally different than the crazy thing we saw here last night. A high fly to left for Brian Giles. He broke back, cruises in, and he's got it for the second out. It's 4 o'clock in St. Louis. You're watching Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV St. Louis, WB11, the flagship station of our Cardinal television network. Bob Carpenter, Al Raboski, Rich Gould at Busch Stadium. AB number 2 for Mark McGwire. He had a sac fly for his 59th RBI, first time up.
Bob, I told you yesterday he's going to be more aggressive early in the count. First time up, he swung at the first pitch. His home run last night was the first pitch. One of the 2 in Houston was the first pitch.
The 1-0. Way upstairs, ball 2. Batters in the shadow. At least the bottom 2/3 of McGwire's body. The 2-0. Mack a swing and a miss. It'll be awfully deceptive now for the next inning or so, as that light standard shadow, then the shadow of the roof, creeps toward the pitcher's mound. The 2-1 to Mack. Off the middle. That's where they've got the second baseman, and it's booted by Warren Morris. McGwire beats it out, and you have to think that'll be an error. Warren Morris with his 3rd of the year, and the Pirates with their 6th of this series.
Yeah, it was, even though he's playing with the shift, he's got to go to his left. He's still on the shortstop side of second base. It's still a one-hopper right there. But look at Matt. You know, he's hustling, trying to go as hard as he can, and it finally pays off.
Here's Edgar Renteria. Takes one low. That ball Mark hit kind of had some funny spin on it as it went up the middle. Might have fooled Warren a bit. And an off-speed pitch way upstairs, ball 2.
We talked an awful lot about Mark not being able to drive off that back leg, but I think this past week he's starting to make signs of being able to sit down on that back leg and not and keep his head still.
Yeah, Tony had an interesting thing to say this morning. He said Mark is almost there, but what's more important is for Mark to know
yes,
that he is almost there.
Yeah, I think that's why Tony kept on stressing. You've got to get him a couple hits. And he was just talking about singles.
Renteria with a fly ball to center. Should be easy for Gary Matthews Jr. Cardinals strand their third runner of the day. We played 4 at Busch on the McGuire sac fly. Cardinals on top. You can get yourself into Sweet 70 on Saturday, October 6th and Sunday the 7th when the Cards and the Astros get together next weekend. Tickets cost $50, include your game admission, all you can eat, unlimited beer and soda, and a souvenir ball cap. 421-3060. Call the Cardinal switchboard Monday morning. Purchase your tickets. That's a heck of a deal for $50.
That's right.
You can say you sat where Big Mac hit number 70.
I was going to say that's why it's called Sweet 70, because that's where that 70th home run ball ended right up in that suite.
And a drive to center from Aramis Ramirez. Edmonds didn't have to move much. 9 in a row for Matt Morris on this Schnucks date in baseball history. We're going to go way, way, way back, almost 50 years. In his last ball game, Stan the Man got 2 singles at Old Busch Stadium. 3,630 hits at that time. A National League record. Look at that balance. Is that amazing? The same number at home and on the road. There's a road base hit. Maybe not. Renteria, it is a hit. As Warren Morris beat it out, Edgar showing tremendous range again.
Yeah, outstanding play, and more times than not, you make that execution, you're going to get the batter. Maybe the mere fact that he's a left-handed swinger and a step closer to first base was all the difference this ball made.
I'm sure some other...
I was going to say, too, now look at how far he bounces that out in front of McGuire. So, you know, McGuire's going to get a real true hop, something that's not going to short hop him, and something where he can hold on to it. But that's a terrific play right there by Renteria.
And a lot of shortstops perfected that on AstroTurf, and they've taken it now to the natural service. 1 on 1 out. I was about to say, I'm sure some of our Cardinal fans who were around this town in 1963 remember that last game of Stan Musial. It was a rarity back then for a home game to ever be televised. That one was, and I can still remember Stan going to first base. Johnny Keane then pinch ran for Stan with another player at that point, and Stan made the long run from first base over to the Cardinal third base dugout, which was the home dugout at the old ballpark. And we said goodbye forever as a player to Stan the Man.
Well, then, of course, Stan with his great timing, 1 year as a general manager.
World Championship.
World Championship in '67.
Swing and a miss on a nasty breaking ball, and Rob Makoviak is done. Matt Morris has 6 strikeouts today, every one of them a swinging strike 3.
And look at that, just the bottom falls out of that breaking ball. And
textbook job by Matheny there, Al.
Well, not only that, but we could say Laz Diaz has called a very good game, or has watched one.
Yeah.
Home plate umpire.
Well, and Dave Duncan told us last year, a lot of umpires these days, it's almost impossible sometimes to get a called strike on a curveball. Strike zone was so small in certain places. A well-hit ball battling the sun. Pujols, he's got it. Renteria was giving him a little help on that play. And the Pirates strand their first runner. Matt Morris, 2 hits through 5. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on WB11 brought to you by the President Casino, now electrifying the Landing. And by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. Beautiful day. Looking back toward the downtown skyline. Matt Morris, Al, and now the hitters are dealing with that shadow from the mound to home plate.
And of course, the way Matt Morris is throwing his curveball, this is the strikeout of Makoviak. Starts in the brilliant sunshine, goes through the shadows, and the bottom falls out of it.
And that thing disappeared more ways than one, huh? That thing looked like a stealth bomber going through there. It just disappeared from the radar screens. And Rob Makoviak had no idea where that thing was.
It's one of the things that some of the Cardinal players were talking about at the batting cage. Like, what's the shadows going to be like in the 4th and 5th inning?
Little chopper by Matheny by the mound. Morris is there. And Al, the good thing about playing this game right now is that because of television, there could be a playoff game in this ballpark at exactly this time of the day. So maybe this isn't a bad dry run for the guys to see what it's going to be like. We have had 3 and 4 o'clock games in here during the playoffs the last 2 times.
And actually, because of television is why it's being played at
right
3:10.
Local stations, over-the-air stations, not allowed to televise on Saturdays until 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time, after the Fox television window is done. Oh, and 2 to Matt Morris. And is low and away. Matt struck out swinging first time up. And Matty is gone for the 2nd time today. The only 2 strikeouts Dave Williams has. Al, not to be lost in all of this, the fact that Dave Williams is pitching another very good game against the Cardinals today.
Yes, he is. And, of course, he's on the short end. And he's allowed 2 hits, the same as Matt Morris. His team has committed 1 error behind him, but it was a sac fly is the only scoring.
Fernando Vina 0 for 1, hit by a pitch. Cardinals only have 2 hits, so do the Pirates. So he shouldn't be too comfortable with his 1-0 lead, even though Matt Morris is dealing very well. Curveball outside. Well, we thought our Missouri Tigers might give Nebraska battle for a while today. They were ahead 3-0. Sorry to report from Columbia, the final score of that one, 36-3. Nebraska, a fly ball near the pole, into the corner. That is a home run for Vina. How about that? Fernando with his 7th of the year.
That ties his season, or his career high in home runs. He's already set a career high in RBIs. Adds to that with his 52nd.
And 7 in 96, 7 in 98 with Milwaukee. And his RBI total, as Al mentions, is zooming way beyond what he always did. And that's the smallest part of Busch Stadium over there.
Well, congratulations. And there's one more run to work with, Matty Moe.
And comes from a left-hander. Polanco bounces out to Jack Wilson, the shortstop. And that's it for the Cardinals in the 5th. So the power guys coming through today. A sac fly by McGuire, a home run by Vina, 2-0 Cardinals.
Vina with a home run. Cardinals lead it 2-0. I want to use the word if, because the Cardinals have not clinched yet. If the Cardinals get into postseason, Kevin Wade, Vice President of Ticket Sales, is going to be a very busy man. Tell us about ticket sales going on sale Monday.
All right, we've got the first 2 division games, which are going on sale Monday morning at 8 o'clock here at the stadium, over the charge line and through our internet.
Okay, and people can line up, right?
People can start lining up.
They can camp out, right?
They can camp out. Starting after tomorrow's game, 2 hours after the game ends, they can start lining up.
When you buy a ticket for the postseason, do you get 1 ticket per game, or do you get them for every game?
You know, you can buy up to 8 tickets for each of the first 2 division games.
Right.
So it's the first time we've ever done the internet sale, so we hope that goes very well, and we're looking for a big crowd down here.
So you say division games. If somebody says, no, I don't want to go to the division games, I want to go to the NLCS, can they buy tickets?
Not Monday morning. We'll make an announcement on when those tickets will go on sale later.
All right. Hopefully Kevin explained that to you. All I know is Matt Morris has got a gem going, guys.
And he does, Rich. Top of the 6th. And a good swing and a foul by Gary Matthews on a 2-0 pitch. Cardinals on top, 2-0. Matthews struck out swinging first time up. Dave Williams is in the on-deck circle to bat here in the Bucs 6th. And the 2-1. And a big curveball just missed. The thing was hooking so much it went right around the plate.
Matthews hit .256 with 11 RBIs in the 39 games he's played with the Bucs.
And he takes one low. Matt Morris with his first walk of the day, and that's only the third Pirate base runner in this game. Second time they put the leadoff man aboard. First time up was Aramis Ramirez, who got aborted basically. Thought about stealing second. He aborted his takeoff, and by the time he got back to first, Matheny, Renteria teamed up to throw in behind him, and he was tagged out by McGuire. So the Bucs haven't had very much working on the bases today. We'll see if they can sacrifice here, maybe, and get a runner into scoring position, try to make this a 2-1 game. Williams off to the right with his bunt. He's had one sacrifice bunt this year. Dave Williams is from Camden, Delaware. He was actually born in Anchorage, Alaska back on March 12th of '79. Only 22 years of age, 6'2", 205. Pirates took him in the 17th round just 3 years ago. So he's been on the fairly fast track to the big league level with the Bucs.
Bobby's got a head in the count here with the one strike. Try to elevate that ball and don't let him get that bunt down.
Matt throws him a low curveball that he bunts nicely. High throw, Vigna handles 1-4 on the sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, you can pitch wherever you want, but to me, if you got good technique, the curveball's the easiest pitch to bunt.
Right.
You're ahead in the count, so why not go up the ladder with him?
The pitch is already going down for you.
And you bunt, and it's easier to get that ball on the ground. He does a job. He gets the runner into scoring position, and I just would like to see a repeat of the fastball and try and get the pop-up or the strikeout and keep that man at first base, and you have one out.
Kendall the batter, a curve for a strike. Well, I know this. If Al Hrabosky was pitching and I was catching with lots of gear on, I would have called for a high fastball on almost every pitch after you go 0-1. We'll see if Matt can stop Kendall now. Jams him, and a foul ball off to the right, 0-2.
You're showing your intelligence because you call the only pitch I possess.
Yeah, but you know what Gibson says? If you have a good fastball, it's like having 4 different pitches.
Absolutely.
You can throw it any different place. The 0-2 to Kendall. He's bounced out to Renteria twice, and he takes the fastball up and away.
So I always loved Ted Simmons. He and I thought a lot alike. You know, he put down one, I'd say no. 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 He put down one, and I said, that's the one I wanted.
Yeah, and then the batter's wondering, what in the heck is he going to throw? Big curveball. This ball is well hit to left center. Pujols chasing, getting there, making the catch. Back to second base is Matthews. With a little better recognition, Gary Matthews Jr. might have been able to tag and go to third, but he also had to make sure he scored if this ball was not caught.
Yeah, it looked like Albert got a little bit of a late break, but he closed the gap. Watch Matthews. Now he's halfway, then it goes back, and he's still not sure if he's going to make the catch, and it wasn't until right at the last second. Pujols hauled it in and then spun and threw the ball quickly back to the infield, and Matthews had to hold.
Here's Jack Wilson, curveball for a strike. And of course, if you're the runner, you don't want to be hanging on the bag. Then the play's not made. The batter might end up at second, and you don't score on a double because you can only go 90 feet.
What were you saying about Cleveland?
They were down 8-7 going into the bottom of the ninth. They beat the Twins 9-8 with 2 in the ninth, and their magic number in Cleveland is now 1 for clinching that division. They'll play again tomorrow, and Bartolo Colon will be their pitcher. So the American League races just about all over now. I mean, for all practical purposes, they are. We've known for weeks Cleveland would be the divisional champion, but at least mathematically, there's one race undecided.
Isn't that amazing? The wild card was decided before the Central Division.
2 Sundays before the end of the season, Oakland clinched the wild card. 2 balls and a strike. And that's a high breaking ball in the strike zone.
And Bob, look at the National League right now. Houston has the best record, with the Cardinals closing the gap, the best 2 records in the National League. So we might have a similar situation.
If the Cardinals were the wild card right now, they would play Arizona. Houston would play Atlanta. If the Cardinals win the division, they would get Atlanta with the worst record among the division champions, because the Cardinals and Astros, same division, cannot play each other in the first round. 3-2, and it's a breaking ball outside. Look out here. You wonder about the approach right there. Matt Morris refusing to challenge Jack Wilson, with home run hitter Brian Giles now representing the lead run coming in.
One of the things I've been very concerned about is at times we keep on throwing inside to Giles, and he hits with this real open stance, and they have not been getting it far enough in.
So they go way up and away. Yeah, Brian Giles, he's got that wheelhouse, belt high or down to the knees on the inner half of the plate with that wide open stance of his. He seldom hits a home run the other way, or to center.
By the way, speaking of another Brian Jordan did hit a 3-run home run for Atlanta with 2 outs in the 9th.
Well, we knew it had to be a walk-off homer, as they won by, what, 3 runs. So you figure it's either a 3-run homer with the game tied or a grand slam, and BJ got it done for Bobby Cox today. There's the Giles home run track. Nearly all of them to right field. Some to center. Breaking ball low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Matt Morris got himself in trouble with his breaking ball in Houston Monday night.
He didn't have the same type of breaking ball either. This one much tighter, much better command.
Breaking ball in there. Well, they had another wild one in the Big 8, or rather the Big 12 today. Oklahoma beat Kansas State 38-37. Nebraska beat our Tigers 36-3. So tough day in Columbia. 2-2 to Giles. He's 0 for 2 today. Looked like a changeup, an off-speed breaking ball in the dirt. Now the runners can be moving with 2 outs.
Matt threw this inning right here and kind of regroup, but stopped his pitching aggressively here and has been kind of just trying to survive.
3-2. Another curveball. He gets the strikeout. Giles keeps thinking he's got to throw a fastball sometime. Matt says, no, I don't. 2 stranded, 3 by the Pirates today. Cardinals still lead by 2. Tonight, an exciting night on WB11 for our St. Louis audience. A whole new journey into space begins. St. Louis's own Scott Bakula, the captain of the Enterprise. And the series premiere tonight at 7 on WB11. A quantum leap of his own, huh? Bottom of the 6th inning. Paquette, Pujols, and Edmonds for the Cardinals on top 2-0. How nice would it be to have another run or 2 here? Low and away, ball 1 to Craig. He's hit the ball sharply twice. One a line out to third, one a hot shot to third. The 1-1 pitch. Low and away. Bunch of Cardinal fans from St. Genevieve are up here today. They came up the river. Well, they probably came up the interstate. And a bouncing ball out to short. Jack Wilson throws out Craig Paquette. Patty Shue's birthday. All the girls are here celebrating. Laura, Greta, Patty, Pam, and Pat. Wishing Patty a happy birthday. And hello to all of our Cardinal fans down the river today. Here's Albert Pujols. I saw another MVP sign during batting practice that said, my vote goes to Pujols, with the MVP in capital letters. He's got a double and a long fly ball today. He goes the other way. A fly ball to Rob Makoviak for the 2nd out. Next up, Jim Edmonds. By the way, happy birthday wishes to Danielle Sork of U City. Danielle is celebrating her 6th birthday today. She's here at the ballpark with her sister Andrea and her mom and a whole bunch of friends. Happy birthday, Danielle Sork of U City.
Also, 49th wedding anniversary for Maxine and Bill Jurek of Steelville, Illinois. It's come from Mike, Debbie, and the kids. We did that 2 days in a row, Debbie. Because you said we weren't televised last night. We were. So we did it again.
All right. The 1-0 to Edmonds, who's 0 for 2. And a fastball in the inside corner from Laz Diaz. Scoreboard already said 2-0. They'll reset it to 1-1. Edmonds didn't like the call from Laz. This umpire is one of the younger umpires. Hasn't been around the National League that long. He's done a solid job today. We haven't seen anybody really quibbling over any calls in the batter's box.
Would you like to know more about Laz?
Go to the umpire's media guide, which Al Roboski has open in front of him right now.
Age 38, birthplace Miami, Florida, resides in Orlando, and this is 2nd year, or 2 years of Major League service.
What's Laz short for?
Laz.
You can call me Laz, and you can call me Laz. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Edmonds hits one to the right side. Warren Morris will throw him out. The Cardinals go 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. Good pitching duel today, Morris and Williams. Matt's got the best of it right now. Also, the switchboard will tell you right where to go to get your order in. Matt Morris getting ready for the top of the 7th. Another birthday wish to pass along. Celebrating her 40th today, and she admits it out in St. Peter's as Mimi Gaines. Happy birthday to Mimi. And Aramis Ramirez leads off the 7th. Warren Morris and Rob Makoviak to follow. I saw a Cardinal fan with a sign today wishing Mark McGwire a happy birthday. A couple of days early.
Yeah.
His birthday's what, Monday?
Yep, October the 1st.
1.
It is Mark's 38th birthday, right?
Yep. He's a baby compared to us. Breaking ball on the corner, and quickly it's 0-2 to Ramirez. Well, we hope Mark's around here into his 40s, still hitting home runs. The 0-2. Fastball high from Matt. Now you've got that odd little situation where the gateway arch-shaped portals of Busch Stadium are providing some sunlight in the batter's box, but everything else pretty much in the shade on the infield. And a breaking ball. He went around. Matheny covers the ball and tags him out. 8 strikeouts. And walking away from a ball the catcher blocked in the dirt will not endear you to your manager. You should be running. There's those sunlight patterns we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, you got the team that's really struggling, trying to avoid 100 RBIs, or excuse me, losses, and then you just, you know you're struck out, and you just walk away towards the dugout, allowing the catcher to tag you. Doesn't look good.
Well, we mentioned last night, Aramis Ramirez is the kind of player that needs a little motivation. Lloyd McClendon has sort of forced him to become an everyday player this year by telling him, you're going to be out there every day. None of this play 3 days and take a day off stuff anymore.
Yeah, it used to be at one time a manager could force the issue by players by threatening, you know, loss of playing time.
Look like a change-up, and McGuire's got it for the 2nd out.
Now it works the opposite. Someone say, well, I don't want to play every day.
You're playing, buddy, whether you like it or not. Guys in your era would have loved to have heard that.
That's right.
I don't want to hear about it. You're playing.
Oh, please.
Oh, boy.
Well, I heard an agent one time saying, well, nobody plays every day anymore. Got to give a bonus to players who play 150 or more games. That's what's wrong with the game.
That's an agent that's been watching Arliss too much. Swinging a foul. Matt Morris working quickly. Now he's got Makoviak 0-2. Rob Makoviak, a rookie, He has not had a clue about Matt's curveball today. So he gets another one.
But you see this inning how Matt has gone back. You know, he had that little trouble spot in the 6th inning, walked a couple guys, was behind in the count to everybody. Now he's back in attack mode.
Goes with a fastball, little tapper. What's that?
Well,
it's foul for the moment. Makoviak had left the batter's box when it appeared to hit him, but he was in foul territory.
Yeah, he was afraid to, you know, take that step and have the ball hit him outside. There's Jim Jackson. He shows up for every game and wonders why he's on the score. Don't look at the monitor. Come on, Jimmy.
He's the best. KMOX producer engineer up the middle, a base hit for Makoviak. Jim Jackson, another St. Louis Steamers alum. He was my radio engineer 18, 19 years ago, working with Kent Samuel as we used to simulcast those games.
I didn't think he was old enough to be working with you two.
Yeah, he is. He's older than me, Jim Jackson. Craig Wilson, the batter. Jim and I know how to find all the cheap cafes on the road. We don't eat breakfast in the hotel anymore.
I imagine the Steamers' meal money was pretty big.
We're still in the past. Al, what meal money? We were doing it for the love of the game. Low and inside to Craig Wilson. And of course, like a lot of kids in St. Louis, I grew up playing soccer. We understand the game here much better than a lot of cities do. Steamers at that time had a lot of local guys. I don't want to start naming them because I'll forget a few, and they should not all be forgotten.
But how about the attendance that Steamers had back then?
There were a couple of years where they packed the arena for every home game, 17, 18, 19,000 a game. They were drawn as well as the Blues back then, and in some cases better. The 2-0, low and outside, as Matt works to Craig Wilson. This guy's a dangerous right-handed hitter. He is very capable of tying this game with one swing.
And our good buddy Kevin Slayton got ejected from the building as the PA announcer one night.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was before I got there. Heard Kevin got into it with an opposing player one night. PA announcer ejected.
Yeah,
of course, in soccer, we call that a red card. 3 balls and a strike. I'm sure Kevin appreciates us bringing that up.
Well, since Kevin's so mild-mannered and never gotten any altercations.
3-1 pitch. Adds a curveball in the inside corner. I would love to see Dave Duncan's pitching chart right now to see what the fastball curveball ratio is on the day for Matt Morris. It can't be much more than 50-50. That ball is trouble. Right field, fair ball to third base Makoviak. He will stop as Paquette gets it back in. Matt Morris a little tardy getting behind the catcher to back up, but Craig really didn't have to gun the ball home. He knew the runner would not be going, so it's first and third, 2 outs now, and the Pirates have their best threat of the day.
See what he's done with the first 3 in the order, 0 for 8, the middle 3. They've had the most hits, 3 for 9, and 7 through 9, 1 for 5. That was just a hit off of Wilson.
Pirates will bat for their pitcher next if the inning gets that far. First and third, 2 outs. Gary Matthews Jr. in there as Mendy Lopez is in the on-deck circle. A curveball outside.
Matthews can be a very dangerous 8th place hitter in this situation. He's got a little pop in the bat.
And he can get an infield hit, Al, to keep an inning alive if he tops one somewhere. Vina really playing him to pull. Fernando's actually on the outfield turf as we get ready for this 1-0 pitch. Renteria cheating up the middle.
Now they're going to look for a pinch runner for Wilson at first base.
Oh, why not? That's a tying run.
That's Hermanson.
Chad Hermanson, who started the ball game in center field last night. Matt on a count of 1-0. This all started with 2 outs. And a big breaking ball. They better hurry. Vigna's got it over to Matt, inning over, and the Pirates strand 2 more, 4 in the last 2 innings, and 5 in the game. Matt Morris has been great. Time to stretch at Busch Stadium. Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Bob, Al, Rich, and our Bud Sports crew having a good time at the ballpark today. It's been gorgeous. Matt Morris has been great. Pirates will keep their pitcher Dave Williams out there for another inning. His spot due to lead off in the top of the 8th inning after the Cardinals bat here in the 7th with Mark McGwire, Edgar Renteria, and Mike Matheny at the plate.
Kevin Young goes in to play first base.
Kevin Young, normally a starter for this ball club. And the fans settling back into their seats after a very nice Busch Stadium rendition of God Bless America. Here we go. The shift is on. McGwire, a sac fly, reaching then on the error by Warren Morris. And that's a fastball high in the strike zone. To Matt. He looks at one low and inside. .582 home runs. Looks like a late breaking slider. And McGwire now facing a full count. Dave Williams has retired 7 of the last 8 Cardinals. Only Vigna's homer broke that up. The 3-2, a pretty good rip by Mark, right back to the screen it went.
Looked like he was on this pitch pretty well. Just a little bit of an uppercut, fouled it back.
The 3-2 to Mark. Got him on a fastball, up and away. 8 of 9 now for Dave Williams. And his 3rd strikeout of the day. That's the first time he has fanned a position player in this game. I'd like to wish a happy birthday today to Greg Minch. He's the father-in-law of one of our outstanding Fox and KPLR producers, Lindsay Polite. Lindsay produces the pregame show for you guys on Fox. He's watching in Decatur today, and a very happy birthday to Greg. Renteria lays a bunt down, but it's too close to home plate. He's gunned out by Kendall. 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Jason Kendall, very good athlete, good catcher. If you missed it early, he told us before the game he doesn't want to play any more outfield for a while. Maybe not ever the way things went for him the last couple of games.
Well, Steve Blass told me, he said, you know, it's not fair to Jason put him out there. He's not an outfielder, and if you want to give him a day off behind the plate, you're going to have to put him on the bench.
Yeah, well, then
it's not that easy to play second base now that they're talking about.
Yeah, then they had Makoviak, an outfielder, playing second base last night. I think Lloyd's looking for something here, trying to find out some things. They desperately need a second baseman. I had a talk with Pat Mears before the game. His left hand, which has had all kind of surgery, is still not healed. And there's Matheny with a fly ball to Giles, and the Cardinals are gone in the 7th. Nice job by Williams. He retires 10 of his last 11. He's gone. Cards by 2. Stan the Man out there in the Plaza of Champions on a brilliant Saturday afternoon of Cardinal baseball. I wouldn't use the word brilliant But pretty darn good was Dave Williams today. 7 innings, 2 runs, only 3 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts. The Pirates will pinch hit for him here with Mendy Lopez, a young shortstop, against Matt Morris, who goes into the 8th inning. And durability has been a strong suit of Matt Morris, although he hasn't pitched 8 since his complete game against the Reds on August 14th, when he went all the way with a 4-hitter. So he was pretty fresh. Matt's had a weird time lately, Al, with that rain-delayed game against the Dodgers. Then he went 7 against Milwaukee. And then, as you mentioned earlier, only 4 2/3 at Houston on Monday night.
Yeah, he's won his 20th game against Milwaukee right here at Busch Stadium. Looking for his 21st victory and 15th home victory. That would be a new record.
Matt Morris, and a foul ball by Mendy Lopez off to the right. Young shortstop. Hitting a .194 for the Pirates, 217 overall.
Steve Klein out in the bullpen.
Lopez was acquired by the Pirates off waivers from Houston on August 13th. Steve Klein has not worked since Thursday night in Houston, when he pitched a scoreless 9th. And a swing and a miss on a big breaking ball.
Oh, where's Rich?
Rich is out there watching Klein get ready for this next appearance.
Oh, and we should be able to find him on camera, right?
1 ball and 2 strikes. And a fastball misses away, 2-2.
You know,
there were 2 left-handers down there in Houston who were rattling the cage out there in the bullpen, dying to get out. One of them did, Klein. Fortunately for the Cardinals, the other one stayed behind the cage all weekend, or rather all 3 games of that series, Al. The Cardinals did not have to deal with Billy Wagner.
Yeah.
Isn't that great when you play a whole series against them and don't see him?
We just got a call from Rich. He's barbecuing. He said, "Stop on over and
save some for us." We're going to Bridgeton for some barbecue after.
You know how good he is with croquettes.
3-2, and a hot shot to short, right through Renteria. That'll be his 23rd error of the year. Edgar's 14th error since the All-Star break. Now, let me check that. That's his 10th error since the All-Star break. He had 13, and pretty solid since, but that one split the wickets.
Well, that ball had a little tricky hop on it, and it's been probably the easiest start of, or the easiest ground ball he's had today. He's made some really nice plays. See Matt well over his average pitches per start here today.
Well, yeah, you have to throw a lot of pitches out when you strike out 8 guys. And Matt's thrown a lot of breaking balls today. Kendall takes ball 1. Jason 0 for 3.
You know, the old theories that, you know, you have to throw about 70% fastballs in order to maintain the velocity. Well, you look at these charts today, and that's thrown out the window.
That's trouble. Stopping at second base is Lopez, and the Pirates have 4 hits in the last 2 innings against Matt Morris. Well, the error, 3 hits and an error. And they've had 6 base runners now in the last 3 innings.
Now, there's no way this should be the last batter that Matt faces, Jack Wilson.
The right-hander, Giles on deck.
But, you know, sometimes as a manager, you wonder, do you leave him out there for one more, or do you go to that bullpen one batter earlier?
Yeah, I think, Al, this time right here is the dilemma faced by managers in both leagues. I mean, this is not just a National League situation here. It's when to take him out. Polanco's on the grass at third, anticipating a bunt to move 2 runners up.
But look at how he is so close to the line, the third base line, that just a little routine ground ball to the left side goes through.
Now, does that mean the Cardinals would have the wheel play on with Renteria breaking that way? Well, even if he does, he probably doesn't reach a ground ball over there.
But if he swings away, is what I'm saying, there is a tremendous hitting lane on the left side. Try and keep that runner close.
They've got him. They got him. Out at second base. Matheny guns out Lopez.
That is a terrible mistake, base running mistake, and the Cardinals sniffed this out perfectly. I almost said, look at where the ball was when Matt made the pitch. His shortstop was out of position, but now you know why he was out of position. And yet the ball was a strike, so you're really running the risk of a disastrous play, and it worked out perfect for the Cardinals.
A terrible mistake by Mendy Lopez. And along with that, as Matt waits too long now and the batter Wilson gets time, Jack Wilson on a bunt situation looks at a fastball down the middle.
See, that's what I'm saying, is that you could understand if it was somewhat of a semi-pitch out. And Lloyd McClendon, he's going to be a good one, folks. He's a good baseball guy, but he's going through a trying period. And
hey, you have to love a manager who finishes an argument by picking first base up out of the ground and carrying it into the dugout with him. And I talked to some of the Pirate guys. They said the umpiring crew showed a great deal of restraint that day. They knew he was frustrated. The life of a first-year manager in the big leagues. Polanco's even with the bag now. A 1-1 pitch is a strike. Jack Wilson 0 for 2 with a walk.
Matt's going on fumes right now, and he understands that this is going to be the last man he faces. He's going to make sure that there's no way he can lose this ball game. And he turns it over to Steve Klein, and hopefully he'll get a double play ball and be out of the inning.
With that in mind, he throws that hard sinker. It misses low and inside. The count's even 2-2.
See, that is a pitch that I think Matt could throw at any time. And you know he has that good breaking ball, but sometimes it seems like the last couple games throwing an awful lot of them. Here's another one.
The curveball bounces to short. Pena for 1. McGuire for 2. 6, 4, 3. Matt Morris will finish with a flourish. 8th inning over for the Pirates. The Cardinals turn a couple and lead 2-0. Osias Manzanillo will take over for the Pirates here. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Cardinals will have a pinch hitter for Matt Morris, who is done for the day. In a rather amusing moment a few seconds ago, Matt Morris had his helmet on, his batting gloves on, and his bat standing in the on-deck circle. Tony La Russa looked out and said, "Are you kidding? Get back in here. JD is hitting for you."
I'm glad that's what he said. And you appreciate a pitcher, a starting pitcher, wanting to finish what he started, but
right.
I think we all would be very critical if he went back out there and somehow lost this game. Turn it over to the bullpen. Been good enough. And Matt Morris, you've pitched well enough to get your 8th win. Saw Jim Edmonds right there. He wants to say hello to Chris Pronger and also tell Dougie Waite that not everyone thinks like him. So we got a a bachelor party up here and everything like that. Pronger's a newlywed.
These guys are late for mass.
They're late
starting
for mass?
right now. Yeah. I mean, the old cathedral's only 3 blocks away.
What do you think? What do you think Edmonds meant about Dougie Wright? That not everyone thinks like him.
Well, you know, Al, when you have ball players using us to pass personal messages on to hockey players, who knows? J.D. Drude with a strike, couldn't stop his swing. Has J.D. pinch hit this year? He's done it once. 0 for 1. He does have a pinch RBI. 5:01 in St. Louis. And you're watching Cardinal Baseball on KPLR TV, WB11, flagship station of our Cardinal Television Network.
Got the pinch RBI in Houston on Wednesday night.
Zach Klein.
That's right.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss on a nasty breaking ball. This kid Manzanillo Well, I call him a kid. He's been around for a while. He's 33 years of age. But he's kind of an excitable guy out there who's got a youthful look to him. He's been pitching in the big leagues off and on since '91 with the Red Sox. He's been with Milwaukee, the Mets, the Yankees, Seattle, back to the Mets, Pirates the last 2 years, 43 games for the Bucs last year, and this appearance is number 69. And a breaking ball to Fernando Vina. Fernando, 1 for 2 with a home run today, hit by a pitch. This is how good Dave Williams was. The bottom of the 8th, and the Cardinal leadoff man's only batting for the 4th time. Score of that one, 36-3. Right down the line, Al. They measured this at 338 feet. You know what that means? It's 330 to the wall. The wall is 8 feet high. It must have been out by inches.
I'm telling you, Seth.
Oh! That's fine. I can take Vina. I'm not afraid of him.
Oh, okay. Now that definitely will get back. And you know what?
You know what? I couldn't run either because he would catch me.
Yeah, when this fight breaks out, if he gets on top of you, I'm going to help him.
Well, of course you will. You're a pile-on kind of guy.
That's right.
You've piled on me before. The 1-2 to Fernando, the pride of Sacramento, and a swing and a miss on a fastball up and away. Manzanillo will face Polanco here in the 8th in the Pirates' 9th inning. And it looks like Steckschulte is throwing. Their scheduled hitters are Brian Giles, Aramis Ramirez, and Warren Morris. It's possible Steve Klein could pitch to one man.
Yeah, Steve Klein will come in.
And then pitch only to Giles. And if he gets Giles, who knows? If Giles would get on, I'm certain we would see Steckschulte. See how Tony goes and how the 9th inning goes. Cardinals on top 2-0.
They have no left-handers on their bench.
They do not. 1 ball to 1 strike to Polanco, who's had a walk and a single today. Busted an 0 for 7 with that base hit back in the 3rd. He's had kind of a quiet day defensively over at third base. Nobody really able to pull Matt Morris much at all. He goes up the middle with a bouncer. Warren Morris let that ball play him a little bit, and he throws out Polanco. Here we go. Stage is set. Top of the 9th. Cardinals lead 2-0. Here comes Mr. Klein. Matt Morris, 8 shutout innings, 5 hits, couple of walks, 8 strikeouts, a big double play to end the 8th. He's done after 118 pitches today. And a great outing for Matt, in line for his 21st win of the year. Here is Steve Klein, busiest pitcher that we know, his 84th relief appearance of the year. And Klein would love to reach 90, although we don't think he's going to make it. He is a workhorse for the Cardinals, Al, and for Klein, he still leads the league. Graham Lloyd of Montreal, the next closest, with 81.
Well, this is a new career high in appearances. He had 83 last year, now 84. You see only 49 hits in 73rd innings. Only 1 home run. That was to a right-handed batter. He has 20 holds on the season. That's tops by far amongst the relievers, and could quite possibly be a 1 batter appearance.
Yeah, if he retires Giles, we'll see how Tony chooses to play it.
And I think we would understand if he would take him out, and hopefully the crowd does too.
There was an afternoon game here against Milwaukee about a week and a half ago when Klein was 1 out away from a save. Tony took him out, and the crowd wasn't happy about it. And I talked to Steve about it later. He said Tony did the right thing. He said, I've been used a lot lately. He said, I threw a lot of pitches in that outing, and I would never question my manager. Who cares? He says, who cares about a save? Steve Klein does not care about individual things like that.
No, he cares about helping his team win.
2-0 pitch. He throws a strike.
And it's sort of a left-handed compliment to Klein when people are booing Tony. It's, you know, it's because Steve's become somewhat of a cult figure, but it's not it doesn't look good.
High and tight. In fact, Tony had a funny line for Klein lately. He said, the next time I take you out of a game, wait for me until I give the ball to the new reliever. I want to walk off with you. And Tony figuring that'll protect him from the crowd. You don't need a leadoff walk here, and he misses low. Ryan Giles aboard, and immediately that brings the tying run to the plate.
Part of I think there with Steve is just the lack of activity of late. And so far, now they'll make the pitching change. They waited to make sure that the reliever was ready.
And the hitter was announced.
And Steck Schulte. Well, it doesn't matter. They're not going to pinch hit for Ramirez. And Steck Schulte will come in now. So Steve, who has been very, very good this year, doesn't get the job done, but it'll depend on the bullpen to close it out.
Klein done after one hitter. Gene Steckschulte, whose role is becoming more prominent with this ball club as we go along, will come on now and have a big-time save situation. Aramis Ramirez, the tying run waits. Cardinals lead 2-0, top of the ninth. Barry Bonds has hit number 69 a little while ago against left-hander Chuck McElroy on a 2-1 count, and the Giants lead the Padres 3-1. San Francisco hanging in there in the Western Division race. The Giants are trailing Arizona by only 2 games. The Diamondbacks are doing okay though in their ball game. 2 in the second, 3 in the sixth. They lead the Dodgers 5-0. Here in St. Louis, Al, we are concerned about Gene Steckschulte. We can't control Barry Bonds right now, but Steck can try to control these Pirates.
Well, Steckschulte has done a good job, and you talked about it, more prominent role. There were some that even believed that at this stage of the season he would be the closer, and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe we don't have our true closer yet. It'll be from batter to batter.
Cardinals are 3 outs away from being only 2 games out of first place. High slider in the strike zone to Aramis Ramirez, 1 for 3 with a single.
More importantly, you get another game off your magic number. You win your game, nobody can beat you.
And the Cardinals would keep the Houston magic number for the division at 6 and trail by only 2. And remember, while the Cardinals are playing the Brewers, the Astros are playing the Giants, who are in the middle of a fight for their lives. They know they've got to win the division in San Francisco pretty much to make the playoffs. The 1-1 sidearm, fly ball center. Edmonds cruising over. That's a big first out. Steckschulte dropped down sidearm on the right-hander. He had a hard time hanging in. Today's play of the game brought to you by Bud Light. And Al, it's a pickoff play. Well, with the 2 on, nobody out.
Yeah, last inning, 2 on, nobody out. Looks at the ball right there. The runner thought he was going to bunt through it, try to get that extra step. And Renteria was at the bag, and Mike Matheny guns him out. How big was that play?
That was huge. Then a double play, and the Bucs disappeared in the 8th. Bud Light, the great taste that won't fill you up, never let you down. Make it a Bud Light with today's play of the game. Left-handed batting, Warren Morris, not normally a home run threat. He hit one against the Cardinals last weekend, but he's only hit 2 on the year. 1 for 3 with a single today. The Pirates have actually out-hit the Cardinals 5-3.
How interesting is it with the left-handed Morris and then Makoviak, a left-handed batter, and no left-hander warming up in the Cardinals pen. Timlin continues to throw out there, but no Tabaka, no Mike Matthews, not even Bud Smith.
1 out, 1 on. Count is 1-1. And the next one, a swing and a foul. Gene Steckschulte this year, 5 saves. And he's really been almost as good against lefties as against right-handers. Kind of an alarming home run total, as Al mentioned earlier. 9 home runs in relief. right-handers. He's got a strikeout pitch. The 1-2. It's a little bit outside. Actually, more than a little. And the count's 2-2. Astros lost at Chicago today, 6-2. Braves got 7 in the 9th to beat the Mets 8-5. A crushing blow. Phillies at Florida tonight. The other important game in the East. Cardinals are 2.5 out, 3 outs away at the start of this inning. Now only 2 outs away from being 2 games out. Runner goes. Strike 3 at second, safe. And a lower throw would have been a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Rob Makoviak coming up next as Warren Morris takes strike 3. How do you make a play this close, Al, when nobody's holding the runner?
Well, there you are, and it's that high throw, a good fadeaway slide, and to the back half, and Matheny made that very close. He's thrown out like 47% of runners attempting to steal. He's picked off one here today. Now,
that one off his glove on a high breaking ball over to third base goes Giles. And you really don't need to be concerned about that. Pirates last had a runner at third back in the 7th after Makoviak singled with 2 outs and went over there on a base hit by Craig Wilson. Pass ball on Matheny on a catchable breaking ball up high. That one's on the corner. Strike 1.
This is all we've mentioned Laz Diaz a couple times, and the fact that, in our estimation, one of the very fine job, very few questions either way.
The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, right side. McGuire can't get it. Vina does. Cardinals win. Fernando Vina with a good play to his left. In 2 hours and 4 minutes, the Cardinals gain a game on Houston. They are 2 games out of first place, number 21 for Matt Morris.
And also sets a new club record with his 15th home victory. This was another well-pitched game. Some great timely plays. That last play by Vina was sensational. Remember Matheny throwing out picking off a runner. Edmonds making a great catch. Renteria had some great plays. Another team victory, and this team is coming together at the right time.
The Cardinals are 23 games over the 500 mark. Vina ends it with a play to Steck-Schulte. Cardinals win. More in a minute. Matt Morris ties Curt Schilling for the National League lead with his 21st win of the year, Al. 8 very hard-fought innings for the Cardinals starter today.
Well, it really was. You see that, and 15th once again. He wins his 15th game at home. That's a good fastball. He struck out 8 in this game. He had the curveball working, but location was so prime, so key. And this is a young, inexperienced team, and he made some of them look bad. But there's the veteran guys like Giles Ramirez that he also got in the strikeout column.
The Cardinals win their 4th game in a row. That's Al Roboski. I'll have some final words in a moment as the Redbird fans, the pennant flying high, celebrating another win. Cardinal baseball on WB11, brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up, never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. An incredible 2 hours and 4 minutes to play it. 39,782 saw it. A happy Matt Morris, 21-8. Steck-Schulte gets his 6th save of the year. Williams, the loser for the Pirates. Renteria, Edmonds, great defense by the Cards. McGuire an RBI. Vina a homer. And folks, your Redbirds are 2 games out of first place. Astros again at Chicago tomorrow. We'll join you at 1 o'clock as the Redbirds take on the Bucs. For Al Roboski, Rich Gould, and our entire Bud Sports crew, Bob Carpenter. Hope you enjoyed it from Busch Stadium. We'll see you tomorrow.